Okay, I wanted to talk today about being pulled over in August last year, August 2024. And like I've said, when you're being gang stalked, they like to cost you money, any way they can. Right here on the screen is a tire they shredded with directed energy. This tire was only about a year or two old, okay, so it was fairly new. And this was on a camper I bought because I was, because being gang stalked, and I was staying in hotels. This happened to be in Twin Falls, Idaho. And I'm staying in a hotel at the time, and I got this camper because I've noticed that hotel owners and other places are involved in the gang stalking as well. And it was becoming more and more negative around this place. So I got this camper, and this tire was on the camper. And let's see, this was about 6 months after buying the camper. And they just absolutely shredded the tire with directed energy. Okay, I'm trying to find the other tire. Okay. So here's the other tire. These tires are bought at the same exact time. You can tell it's in really good shape. It has a lot of good tread. And then they ended up being able to shred that good of a tire. And I have had about 6 flat tires in 7 years, and I've had the rear view, not rear view mirror, the side mirror on my vehicle knocked off. Luckily, it was one of those that it can break away, and then you can put it back on, but it doesn't work right now. So they just anything to cost you money. So this past August, I was pulled over by Indiana State Police because I'm in Indiana, and I was given a ticket for holding my phone. Now, I started holding my phone up because I know there are still good police officers and people in FBI and other agencies who are good people. So I hold my phone up when I'm traveling so they can see who's in front of me, who's around me. And so I don't talk on my phone as a general rule. I can't say I've never done it. When someone calls me and I'm expecting a call, which is very rare, very, very, like 2 times out of a year. But I pull over at the first, opportunity, and or put the phone down so I can talk and my person can listen to me. But anyway, at this time, I'm holding my phone up. I'm not talking in it. And I'm doing 55 miles an hour in a 60-mile-an-hour zone. It's a 4-lane federal highway I was on. And the state trooper pulls me over and says, I'm giving you a ticket for holding your phone. Now, you could check records and it would say I was not talking on my phone. There was no call received or going out. And that would be easy to look at. I could have shown him that. He wasn't interested. He gave me a ticket for $165. First time offense, which is not how we do things in Indiana. We've always been an easygoing state, and I've always gotten warnings for an infraction. So I'm given the court date of October 14th. And soon after that, I mean, like within days after that, Trump announces October 14th is Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day, or whatever that was. So it immediately alarms me. And I ended up going to court. I told the judge I was holding the phone. I'll tell you the truth. I'm holding the phone. I'm not talking on it. I'm doing 55 miles an hour. I'm not, doing anything else that, would be concerning, like doing 80 miles an hour and holding the phone in my hand. Meanwhile, there are people zooming around me doing 70 and 80 mile an hour, and the cop doesn't pull them over. So then I realized this judge hasn't introduced herself, and there is no name plaque that I could see from where I was sitting. And I wasn't feeling well because they made me wait. I was almost the last person in called. And I didn't even think about it at the time, but I'm sitting in front of a huge screen TV, flat screen TV that's hanging on the wall right across from me. And this thing is probably 6 feet wide. It's huge. And it didn't even occur to me that they were probably hitting me with the directed energy, the radio waves, because I was so ill, not feeling well at all. I mean, my heart was, I'm nervous. I expect my heart to be a little bit, beating a little faster, but this was ridiculous. This was really beating fast, not normal, and I think they were hitting me with something, because then the next day I felt so awful. The general symptoms of what they call COVID, of aching all over and no energy, just really zapped of energy, getting a migraine, the sinus stuff, just all over again. And I was bad for a couple of weeks. So I thought maybe they had, I don't know, had somebody put something on a doorknob that I touched, or, I'm so aware of this stuff now that I'm thinking, okay, trying to rack my brain. What did I touch? What did I, where did I go? That sort of thing. So getting back to the judge, I realized that this judge was not elected by the people of my county. And this is the second time this has happened, where in my hometown, which is nearby but a different county, the same exact thing, when I was trying to fight for my house back, I got a judge that was not elected by the citizens of my county. And it didn't even occur to me till 6 months later, when I had to go before this court again, trying to, still trying to fight for my house back. And the fees, they were trying to, $2,000 of fees for these attorneys that did maybe an hour or 2 hours of work. And they didn't even do the work. They had their paralegal do the work, and then they charge you this exorbitant amount. So when they made me come again, and it was July, was the second hearing, I asked the judge bluntly, I said, "Are you elected by the citizens of this county?" And he had to answer no. And he was angry that I had called them on their stuff. The problem is, I went to the Indiana Supreme Court after this and said, this judge was not elected by the citizens of my county. And they flat out refused to appeal it, refused to hear the case, and said they did nothing improper, which is a lie. It's illegal. What they're doing is illegal. They're putting these judges before people who are, your judges are supposed to be elected by the people to hear the cases, and it's taxation without representation. The second thing I found is the gold fringe around our flag now means, it doesn't mean what people say. I've been hearing that they're saying it's maritime law, and it's actually Jewish law. At least that's what I'm picking up on. In the book of Numbers, there is a passage about putting a fringe around your garments, and it's supposedly to remember the commandments. I don't think that's what it means, though. I think it means something else, like you're trying to force Jewish law on, and it's not Jewish law, it's Khazarian. These people are Khazarians, not the real Jews. They are the fake Jews that Jesus talks about in Revelation 3. And and I've noticed it a lot now. They're putting the tassels as well. Now, the tassels was also mentioned in my version of the Bible, of putting tassels on your garments. And so that's what I think is happening. And then when I read, in the book of Numbers, and I started reading about Jewish law, they do treat women like they are non-persons, like they are not equal. A Jewish man, or Khazarian, however you want to say it, they can ask for a divorce. They go through their rabbis, and I think it's a council of three. I think one is definitely a religious leader, and then there's two more, and they can be either religious or, I don't know, just leaders in the community. So he can go before them and say, I want a divorce from this woman. They have this paper they give to the woman saying he divorces you. Now, if the woman wants a divorce, she has to go before the council, and she has to get her husband's permission to get a divorce. So, women are not treated as equals. And I think this is one of the major reasons why they kept people from knowing if Jesus and Mary Magdalene had married, and that she was a disciple. And we know that she was a disciple because she had the ability to heal. And, this has been a testimony by monks. They've testified that Mary Magdalene's, they've asked for her intervention and her help, and she's responded. So, and Jesus said he would give his disciples the ability to heal. So, I think that's what these people are trying to do with the law. That $165 they charged me. I really wanted to protest it, but I'm just not in a position to do so. I'm just, I'm poor. They stole my house, and I'm just not in a position to fight these monsters. And I really wanted to. I wanted to just not pay it and see what they did. But since they don't even follow their own laws, they make up stuff to to get their own way, basically. They don't even follow their own laws. They'll make up stuff to continue to have their way, even though they know they've broken the commandments. They definitely have broken the commandments over and over again. So it's not about the commandments. So anyway, this is kind of long. I didn't mean it for it to go too long, but I just wanted to touch on that, how much they cost you, how they are changing the law to Jewish or Khazarian law, and that I personally believe that Jesus and Mary Magdalene were married and they have a bloodline. And that these people have been attacking the bloodline ever since Jesus walked the earth. Another thing is that if you follow Jesus' teachings and you are thrown out of your church, just remember that Jesus said that he was thrown out of his church first. It's in the book of John. And I will put those Bible verses down below. And I guess that's all for this one. Have a good evening and God bless. Bye-bye.